Hello and welcome to The Wire. I'm Arfa Khanam Sherwani. The coronavirus pandemic is affecting almost the entire world, but what we are witnessing in India is something very unique. It is dividing the Indian society on the lines of religion. Now, communal politics is not something that is new to India, but nobody would have thought that this virus would actually deepen this religious divide in India. Now, what we are witnessing at the moment in India is that not just the right wing trolls, but even the spokespersons, the office bearers of the ruling party BJP, are blaming this entire pandemic on India's Muslims. And on social media, there is hate, bigotry, and blatant Islamophobia. But something very unique, very unprecedented happened on India's Twitter, and that is that prominent citizens from Arab world, they decided to speak out against it. From lawyers to journalists to even people from the royal family, they responded to these tweets which were anti-Islam, anti-Muslim and Islamophobic in nature. Joining me on the wire at the moment is Princess Hendil Qasimi, who's one of those people who decided to speak out against those tweets. Ma'am, welcome to the wire. Ma'am, first of all, I am deeply sorry that you had to go through this experience. My first question to you would be, what was that moment when you thought enough is enough and you decided to give it back to that troll? What exactly happened?
Can I just say thank you for having me? And I was on Twitter casually. I'm not a political activist, but I found this person tweeting negatively about my country, my religion, my prophet, my history, my heritage, and I was deeply offended. I'm sorry, I don't know much about the Tablighi Jamaat, and I'm sorry, I don't know enough about the Indian politics and who's speaking right and who's speaking in a vile way. But I do know that what I read deeply disturbed me, and I was shocked because, as I've mentioned before, I always had a Desi or an Indian friend with me. So I grew up with Indians all my life. So this attitude was not very Indian. I did not recognize the Indian tone of voice in the way that he was expressing his opinion. He was very arrogant, which is something that's not very Indian. I mean, Indians are usually very humble and they're very gentle and they're very generous and they're very down to earth. And this person had so much pride. It was like a demon was speaking. I mean, I didn't like what he was making fun of my country and my religion. He was calling us a donkey religion of 1,400 years old. And the way that he was expressing his opinion of my country and how it was only built by Indians and how it's run by Indians, I do not deny that we have a significant Indian population that we are codependent with, and we live together in harmony and peace. He was clearly not born in the Emirates, because if an Indian is born and bred in the Emirates, they don't speak like that. He was clearly fresh off the boat from India, and he comes with this idea, I think because it's been made in his mind that it's okay to speak like this. He can say whatever he wants. Even if something is true, that it's bad, you don't express it like that. If you see something you don't like in Islam, we say, if you see something you don't like, you can change it with your hand. If you don't like it, you change it with your tongue, with your words. Sometimes, but the way that he was expressing himself, you can call it peaceful, but this is how genocides are born. They first begin by hate that grows in the heart, that comes to the tongue, that eventually turns into a genocide. Then people begin killing each other. I'm sorry that the Islamophobia that's going on in India is going on, but it's this hatred is not welcome in the Emirates. Hate speech is illegal in
Right,
my country, and
right. I'm so
I
sorry.
mean, it's a crime.
I'm so sorry that you had to go through this. I deeply apologize on behalf of all those people who hurt your religious feelings. But what I want to know from you right now is that are you concerned about Indians living in Gulf countries, especially in UAE and spreading Islamophobia, posting Islamophobic stuff, or Islamophobia in general, or in particular in India? Are you also concerned about this? My question is that is it just about Indians living in UAE, or are you in general concerned about Islamophobic content on Indian social media?
The Indians in the Emirates are very safe. Nothing happens to them over here. They're our friends. I mean, Hindus, Christian, Muslim, Indians, they're all our friends. Nobody speaks like this. Like I told you, this is somebody that clearly doesn't know the Arabs, clearly isn't friends with any of the Arabs, and clearly isn't interested. He says that he has a multi-million-dollar company in the Emirates and that he's running the country, he's running the world, he thinks he thinks he's God on this land. I'm sorry, but this isn't how the world works. I'm concerned about Islamophobia worldwide, not specifically to India. I mean, I have a right to say something in my country. I have no right to say anything in India. I have no right to say anything anywhere. I mean, I can only voice an opinion. But I'm hoping that maybe my voice can take things forward. That maybe my voice can make a difference. That I want other people to say, this is wrong, it has to stop. I mean, this neo-Nazi, this Islamophobia is going around will not be accepted. We all know how Hitler ended. I mean, yesterday was a celebration of remembering the Holocaust. This is how we are trying to stop another Holocaust happening.
Right. So you're saying that you thought that your voice could actually make a difference, and this is when you decided to speak out. Some people are also asking this question that it is not just from one country that people are speaking out, and not one kind of people. They are journalists, human rights lawyers, and people from royal family, and different countries, like somebody from Kuwait, so somebody from Oman, and somebody from, say, different countries in UAE, even Saudi Arabia. Is it some kind of a coordinated response? Because all of these have emerged in the last 3-4 days.
I think my voice, it was not expected. I did not expect to get such a response. I'm happy that I have a positive response, that I was able to defend my religion. And I won't say just defending my religion. I hope my voice is able to defend all other religions, all other people. I mean, it is the voice of humanity. I mean, when I came to India last time, I bought a book when I went to the Gandhi Museum. It was Gandhi's biography, and I was touched so deeply. I, I was telling my friend they should teach this in schools, and she told me that yes, it was taught in schools. And I really would encourage people to read of Gandhi's tale. I mean, these people have changed the world without a single drop of blood. I think that shows you so much. I mean, we are ruled by intelligence. We are not monkeys. We are humans. We are the intelligent race. We don't need to depend on our brawn and our muscles and our guns to run the world. We run the world with our minds, with peace. I mean, Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King, Gandhi, these are people we should learn from.
Yeah.
It's
And I joined you in this pain when a lot of Indians have actually disowned Gandhi and his legacy, but there are far more Indians who still love him and his ideology of peace and harmony to the core, including me. I remember you also invoking Gandhi and reminding Indians about Gandhi, that how Gandhi propagated peace and non-violence. Do you think that Mahatma Gandhi had this deep impact on you, on the way you think and on the way you perceive the world?
yes. Honestly, I cannot begin to tell you how I mean, I felt enlightened. I mean, I felt like I was on a journey with him in his on his ordeal. I mean, he was talking about how he saw the violence and the oppression of Indians in South Africa, and that is what gave birth to what he was doing. I mean, he first began in South Africa because he felt like the Indians were treated like slaves in South Africa, and he was able to give them their basic rights. And it didn't happen overnight. It took persistence. But I would rather do it the Gandhi way, which is harder, and you will be people will insult you, people will attack you. But at the end of the day, you go.
You were talking on, you said you also know some Hindi. Even your name says
Yeah.
Hindustan, Hind. And would you want to say something to a message for Indians who love Arabs, Arab culture? And we are so much together. This composite culture goes to not just all of South Asia, but even until I would say to even Arab countries as well. Do you want to have say something for these Indians who love Arab so much? Just leave aside for a moment these hateful, bigoted, Islamophobic people.
My name is Hind, which in Arabic translates to two meanings, and both meanings are prettier than the other. One means India, in reference to the great history and the great beauty of that country, and it also means Indian sword. It also had another meaning, which also means most precious of your treasures, because uh, when whoever went traveling to all the wealth, all the gifts which your heart desires. So India meant, oh, I'm going to India. So to them, a light bulb would show up, and they would think of all the glories of India because they had all the fruit. They had it was the land of milk and honey. It was the land of history and beauty and nature. My grandmother loved India. My uncle passed away in India. When he retired, he moved to India. You have no idea how attached the Arabs are to the Indians. I mean, we regard India like a mother's. There are some countries which give you that connection, like Egypt and India. These countries are very, when you go to them, they grow on you because the people there, I'm not sure, but the common people are so kind. They're so generous. Even when they have nothing, they give you all that they have. I think we should learn from the poor Indians love and kindness. I mean, I don't mean to make fun, but I do know that I've been to India a few times. I mean, I went to a bank and I had a lovely time. And when I went there, it opened my eyes. I met with an Israeli senator, and she told me that she wrote a book called Tears of a Jewish Woman. And I've never, I don't know if you know about this, but Muslims and Zionists don't really. But when I sat down with her, you could see that she was just a woman that wanted to exist. I obviously am a high defender of rights of Palestinians as well. But when you sit with with the opposite side, it enlightens you, it changes you. And let me assure you that the Indians will always have a home in Saudi Arabia. And for the Indians living in the Emirates, I mean, we can't do with them. I mean, I even mentioned on my Twitter earlier that I can't live without my Bollywood movies or my cheese naan or butter chicken or my karak chai. I once went to an Indian guru, different than my Guruji, the yoga one, and I had dinner on a banana plate, and the experience for me was just a delight. I mean, I was. It's the small things. Sharing your bread with someone sometimes goes deeper. It has a deeper meaning in your heart than sharing your wealth with them.
Right.
When somebody breaks
Thank
bread
you
with
much.
you, they.
Thank you very much for your time, for these words. I can assure you there are millions of Indians who love Arabs, Arab country, their culture, as much as Arabs love India. And a lot, of course, we have lost in India, but there are still millions of Indians who love you equally. Thank you very much. And I deeply apologize and feel sorry about the treatment that was meted out to you by some hateful, bigoted people. Thank you very much for speaking to The Wire.
Thank you.
द वायर के और वीडियोस देखने के लिए सब्सक्राइब करें और बेल आइकन पर क्लिक करें। स्वतंत्र पत्रकारिता की आर्थिक मदद करने के लिए डिस्क्रिप्शन में दिए गए लिंक पर जाएं और अपनी राशि चुनें।